Monthly fees for security cameras add up fast. 3 cameras at $10 a month each will cost you over $1,000 in just 3 years, and that's money you'll keep paying as long as you own them. There's a better way, and it's called subscription-free security. I'm Marcus Chen, and I've spent years helping homeowners break free from these recurring charges while keeping their properties secure.
You're listening to the Smart Home Setup Podcast. Quick heads up before we get rolling. Everything you hear is researched, written, and verified by real people. In this case, me. But the voice you're hearing is AI generated. Just wanted to be upfront about that. If you've been listening for a while, thank you for being here. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome aboard. We drop new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today we're diving into subscription-free security cameras, what they are, how they work, and whether they're the right fit for your setup. Let's get into it.
If you're researching how subscription-free security cameras work, you've probably noticed that almost every security solution comes with monthly fees attached. Here's what you need to know up front. Subscription-free cameras store footage locally instead of in the cloud, which eliminates those recurring charges while giving you complete control over your recordings. I've helped hundreds of homeowners make this transition, and the technology has matured significantly over the past few years. That said, you need to understand the trade-offs before you make the switch. So, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a subscription-free security camera? It's a surveillance device that operates without requiring ongoing cloud storage fees. Instead of uploading footage to a manufacturer's servers, these cameras store recordings locally, on microSD cards, network-attached storage devices, or dedicated base stations with built-in hard drives. The core distinction here is ownership. When you buy a subscription-free camera, you own both the hardware and the data. Traditional cloud cameras from companies like Ring or Nest charge monthly fees, typically $3 to $10 per camera for video history beyond 24 to 48 hours. Those charges compound quickly. 3 cameras at $10 a month each cost you $360 annually, every single year you own them. Subscription-free cameras eliminate this perpetual expense, but they shift certain responsibilities to you. You'll manage storage capacity, handle backup procedures if you want redundancy, and configure any remote access yourself. In my experience, this trade-off appeals most to homeowners who value data privacy, dislike recurring charges, or have some technical comfort with network-attached devices. These cameras communicate using several protocols. Wi-Fi is most common for standalone cameras. Zigbee is rare for cameras but used in some integrated security systems. Z-Wave is also uncommon for video. It's more typical for sensors. Matter 1.4 theoretically supports camera integration, but as of early 2026, I haven't seen production-ready Matter cameras with robust local storage. Most Matter implementations still require cloud components. The devices function identically to subscription models for live viewing and motion detection. The difference emerges when you want to review past footage. Instead of logging into a cloud portal, you'll access recordings through the camera's local interface, a dedicated app that pulls from local storage, or network file shares if you're using network-attached storage. Now, let's talk about how subscription-free security cameras actually work. The technical operation breaks down into 4 core components: video capture and processing.
When motion triggers the camera or during continuous recording, the sensor captures video and the onboard processor encodes it using H.264 or H.265 compression. Higher compression with H.265 reduces file sizes by roughly 30 to 50% compared to H.264, which extends how much footage fits on local storage. The Reolink RLC810A uses H.265 encoding. Check the link below to see the current price. And I found it gives about 7 to 10 days of continuous recording on a 256GB microSD card at 4K resolution. That's versus 4 to 6 days with H.264 at the same quality. Most cameras offer adjustable quality settings, 1080p, 2K, 4K, and frame rates like 15, 20, or 30 frames per second. Lower settings extend storage duration but reduce detail. The automation logic here is straightforward. If motion is detected, start recording. Set the recording duration based on how long motion continues plus a post-motion buffer. Save the video file to local storage. If storage capacity drops below 10%, overwrite the oldest files. The post-motion buffer, typically 15 to 30 seconds, ensures you capture the full event, not just the trigger moment. Next, local storage mechanisms. Storage options fall into three categories. First, microSD cards, ranging from 8 GB to 512 GB. The camera writes directly to the card inserted in the device. This is the simplest approach, but creates a single point of failure. If someone steals the camera, you lose the footage. I've seen homeowners solve this by mounting cameras out of reach or using models with theft alerts that upload a snapshot to your phone before tampering occurs. Second, base stations with built-in drives. Systems like the Eufy Homebase 2, check the link below for pricing, include 16 GB of local storage, expandable to 16 terabytes via external hard drives connected to USB ports. All cameras in the system transmit to the base station via proprietary wireless protocols, typically 2.4 GHz. Latency from motion detection to recording start averages 1 to 3 seconds depending on wireless signal strength. Third, network-attached storage. Cameras supporting ONVIF, RTSP, or RTMP protocols can stream directly to Synology, QNAP, or custom NAS devices running software like Frigate or Blue Iris. This requires network configuration. You'll set up the camera to push video streams to the NAS IP address. For example, your RTSP stream configuration would include the camera IP address, username, password, and the NAS destination path for where you want the footage stored. Reliability varies significantly by protocol. Wi-Fi cameras lose connection during router reboots or interference spikes, creating recording gaps. Wired Power over Ethernet cameras eliminate wireless dropout but require running Cat5e or Cat6 cables. In my installations, PoE systems have over 99% uptime compared to 92 to 97% for Wi-Fi only setups.
Moving on to remote access without cloud services. To view footage remotely, outside your home network, subscription-free cameras use one of three methods. Peer-to-peer connections are first. The camera registers with the manufacturer's relay servers, which facilitate a direct encrypted tunnel between your phone and the camera without storing video. Latency for live viewing typically runs 2 to 5 seconds. This works well, but depends on the manufacturer maintaining those relay servers. If they shut down, as several smaller brands did in 2024 and 2025, remote access breaks permanently. Second option is VPN to your home network. You configure a VPN server on your router or NAS, connect your phone to it when you're away, and access cameras as if you're home. This provides complete control but requires technical setup, and your home upload bandwidth limits video quality. Third is dynamic DNS with port forwarding. The camera uses a dynamic DNS service to maintain a consistent address despite your home IP changing. You forward specific ports through your router to the camera. This creates security risks if not properly configured. I strongly recommend changing default passwords and using non-standard ports. Let's also cover automation integration and fallback behavior. Most subscription-free cameras support basic if-then automation through their native apps. For instance, if the camera detects a person and the time is between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., then send a push notification, activate the siren, and turn on linked smart lights. For deeper integration with smart home platforms, you'll need cameras supporting ONVI, which is a standard protocol allowing cross-platform video streaming. Home Assistant, Habitat, and similar hubs can pull ONVI streams and incorporate camera triggers into complex automations. For example, if a Zigbee door sensor opens and home mode is set to away, then start recording the front door camera, increase recording quality to 4K, and save a snapshot to the NAS. Fallback behavior during network failures is critical.
Quality cameras continue recording to local storage even when Wi-Fi disconnects. You just can't view live feeds remotely until connectivity restores. Cheaper models sometimes stop recording entirely if they can't reach the internet, which defeats the purpose of local storage. Always verify this specification before purchasing. Look for "continues recording during network outages" in product descriptions. The TP-Link Topo C320WS, check the link below for current pricing, explicitly documents this behavior. It buffers up to 30 minutes of footage during network interruptions, then writes it to the microSD card once reconnected. I've tested this by unplugging routers during recording, and it performed reliably. Now, why does subscription-free matter for your smart home?
The shift to subscription-free security reflects broader concerns about total cost of ownership, data privacy, and vendor lock-in that I see increasingly influence purchasing decisions. First, let's talk about long-term cost savings. The math becomes compelling within 1 to 2 years. A typical 3-camera Ring setup costs around $30 a month for useful cloud storage. The free tier only saves snapshots, not video. That's $360 annually, $1,800 over 5 years. Meanwhile, 3 subscription-free cameras with 256GB microSD cards cost around $15 total for storage that lasts the lifetime of the cameras. Even factoring in the higher upfront camera cost, subscription-free models often run $20 to $50 more per camera. You break even by year 2 and save continuously afterward. For budget-conscious installations, this distinction matters enormously. I've worked with homeowners who simply couldn't justify ongoing fees but needed security coverage. Subscription-free cameras made the entire project feasible. Next, data privacy and local control. When footage uploads to manufacturer cloud servers, you're trusting their security practices, encryption standards, and data retention policies. Breaches happen. Ring faced multiple incidents where unauthorized users accessed customer cameras between 2019 and 2023. Subscription-free cameras eliminate this attack vector entirely if you keep footage local only. You control who accesses recordings and how long they're retained. This matters legally in some contexts. Certain jurisdictions have data retention limits for residential surveillance. With local storage, you simply configure overwrite schedules to comply. The trade-off is self-reliance. Cloud services provide off-site backup automatically. If your house burns down or someone steals your NAS, that footage is gone. I recommend homeowners serious about evidence preservation set up automated backups to a second location, cloud storage under your control, or a family member's NAS, if local-only storage is mission-critical. There's also ecosystem flexibility to consider. Subscription models create vendor lock-in. If you invest in 5 Nest cameras and later want to switch ecosystems, your footage history and automation integrations don't transfer. Subscription-free cameras using open standards like ONIV and RTSP let you switch platforms without losing functionality. This flexibility extends to smart home integration. I've built systems where Reolink RTSP cameras feed into Home Assistant alongside Zigbee motion sensors and Z-Wave door locks, creating unified automation logic. For instance, if a Zigbee motion sensor triggers and the Reolink camera detects a person, then unlock the Z-Wave door lock. Otherwise, send an alert saying motion without person detection. Closed subscription ecosystems rarely allow this depth of cross-protocol integration.
Let me break down the types and variations of subscription-free cameras. Not all subscription-free cameras function identically. The category subdivides by storage architecture, power source, and protocol support, each with distinct trade-offs. First distinction is standalone versus system-based cameras. Standalone cameras with integrated microSD slots operate independently. Each camera manages its own storage, and you access footage through individual camera interfaces. This simplifies installation. Just mount and configure Wi-Fi.
But reviewing footage from 4 cameras means opening 4 separate apps or interfaces. The Wisecam V3 exemplifies this approach. Check the link below for current pricing. It's fully functional with a $15 microSD card, no hub required. System-based cameras connect to a central base station or network video recorder. The base station handles storage, and you access all camera feeds through one interface. This centralizes management, but creates a critical single point of failure. If the base station fails, all cameras lose recording capability. I recommend base stations with RAID-capable drive configurations for homeowners who need high reliability. Power options and protocol implications also matter. Battery-powered cameras from brands like Arlo, Eufy, and Reolink's Go series offer placement flexibility but limit recording duration to conserve power. They typically record only on motion triggers, not continuously. Battery life ranges from 2 to 6 months depending on detection frequency. Cameras in high traffic areas drain faster. These almost universally use Wi-Fi, specifically 2.4 GHz for range and proprietary protocols to communicate with base stations. Wired cameras, whether power over Ethernet or USB powered, support continuous recording without battery concerns. PoE cameras deliver both power and data over a single Ethernet cable, requiring a PoE switch or injector. Latency and reliability improve substantially. PoE typically delivers 50 to 150 milliseconds response times, compared to 200 to 500 milliseconds for Wi-Fi cameras. There are also protocol-specific considerations to think about. Wi-Fi cameras dominate the subscription-free market, but introduce network congestion. Each 4K camera streaming continuously consumes roughly 5 to 8 megabits per second of bandwidth. 5 cameras can saturate a typical 40 megabit per second upload connection if you're accessing them all remotely. I've seen entire home networks slow to a crawl when multiple cameras activate simultaneously during package deliveries.
Zigbee and Z-Wave aren't practical for video transmission. Bandwidth limitations cap them around 250 kilobits per second and 100 kilobits per second, respectively, far below video requirements. However, some integrated security systems use Zigbee or Z-Wave for sensors and controls while routing camera feeds over Wi-Fi or wired Ethernet. This hybrid approach reduces wireless congestion. Matter 1.4 includes a camera specification, but implementation remains limited in early 2026. The few Matter cameras I've tested still require manufacturer cloud services for advanced features, which undermines the subscription-free model. Let's go through some frequently asked questions. Do subscription-free security cameras require internet to record? No. Properly designed subscription-free security cameras continue recording to local storage, microSD card, base station, or network video recorder, even without internet connectivity. The camera's motion detection, recording triggers, and storage writing operate independently of network access. You'll lose remote viewing capability and push notifications until internet restores, but footage saves locally. However, some budget models incorrectly require cloud connectivity to function at all. Always verify offline recording capability in specifications before purchasing. I've tested cameras that completely stop recording when Wi-Fi disconnects, which defeats the purpose of local storage. Can I access subscription-free camera footage remotely without paying fees? Yes, through 3 main methods: peer-to-peer connections built into most camera apps, VPN access to your home network, or dynamic DNS with port forwarding. P2P is simplest, but depends on the manufacturer maintaining relay servers. If they discontinue service, remote access breaks. VPN provides full control, but requires configuring a VPN server on your router or NAS. Port forwarding creates potential security vulnerabilities if not properly secured with strong passwords and non-default ports.
All three methods work indefinitely without subscription fees, though each require different technical comfort levels to set up correctly. How long can a 256GB microSD card store security footage? Storage duration depends on resolution, compression, and recording mode, continuous versus motion only. A 256GB card typically stores 7 to 10 days of continuous 4K H.265 footage from one camera, 14 to 20 days at 1080p, or 30 to 60 days at 720p. Motion-only recording extends this 3 to 5 times depending on activity levels. A front door camera with 20 to 30 motion events daily might store 30 to 40 days of 4K clips. H.264 compression reduces these durations by roughly 30%. Cameras overwrite the oldest footage automatically when storage fills. It's called a circular buffer, so you don't need to manually delete files. For critical applications, I recommend 512GB cards to ensure at least 2 weeks of coverage at your desired quality level. Are subscription-free cameras compatible with Alexa, Google Home, or HomeKit? Compatibility varies significantly by manufacturer and protocol. Wi-Fi cameras using ONIV or RTSP streams generally integrate with Google Home and Alexa for live viewing on smart displays, but recording controls and automation triggers often remain limited to the camera's native app. HomeKit requires Apple's specific certification. Fewer subscription-free cameras support it compared to Alexa or Google. Matter 1.4 theoretically enables universal compatibility, but as of early 2026, Matter Tamra implementations remain immature. Always check the specific camera's integration list before purchasing. What happens to my footage if the manufacturer shuts down? With truly subscription-free cameras using local storage and standard protocols like ONIV and RTSP, you retain full access to footage and core functionality even if the manufacturer closes. The camera continues recording to local storage, and you can access feeds through third-party software supporting those protocols. However, if the camera relies on the manufacturer's P2P relay servers for remote access or uses proprietary apps without standard protocol support, those features will fail when servers shut down. This happened with several smaller camera brands in 2024 and 2025. Homeowners can still record locally but lost remote viewing. Choose cameras explicitly supporting ONIV and RTSP to maximize long-term viability, and test third-party access methods early so you're not dependent on manufacturer infrastructure. Let me wrap this up with a quick summary. Subscription-free security camera systems eliminate ongoing cloud storage fees by storing footage locally on microSD cards, base stations, or network-attached storage. You'll manage your own storage capacity and backup procedures, but you gain complete data ownership and avoid perpetual monthly charges that compound to hundreds or thousands of dollars over the camera's lifespan. The technology works reliably when you choose cameras supporting open standards like ONVIF and RTSP, verify offline recording capability, and plan for adequate local storage based on your recording quality and duration requirements. Protocol selection matters. Wi-Fi cameras offer easy installation but consume significant bandwidth, while PoE cameras require cable runs but deliver superior reliability and lower latency. Zigbee and Z-Wave aren't viable for video transmission, but can integrate sensors and controls alongside Wi-Fi camera feeds in hybrid systems. Matter 1.4 camera support remains limited in early 2026, with most implementations still requiring cloud components. In my experience installing these systems across hundreds of homes, the subscription-free approach succeeds best for homeowners comfortable with basic networking concepts, who value long-term cost savings and data privacy over the convenience of managed cloud services. The initial setup requires more attention to storage planning and network configuration, but the ongoing maintenance is minimal, typically just occasional microSD card replacements every 2 to 3 years. That's it for this episode of the Smart Home Setup Podcast.
Thanks for listening. New episodes come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so there's always something fresh to check out. If you found this helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you left us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It makes a huge difference in helping other people find the show. And make sure you're subscribed or following so you get notified the second a new episode drops. Talk soon.